This is the Clockwork PicoCalc, and we haven't had a look at this for a while now. We got this last year, and today I'm finally going to do what I wanted to do with this when I first bought it, and that's turn it into a handheld portable Linux terminal. First things first, you might notice that the background is a bit different. Well, we're not actually at my filming desk, we're at my normal work desk, because over on my filming desk down there, I've got it all set up for a different video that I'm currently working on. That's taking a little longer than I'd hoped, but something came into the post today, and so I had to stop everything and film this video because I've been wanting to do this, like I say, for basically since I've got this, which was nearly a year ago now. And it all revolves around this little guy here. This is the LuckFox Lyra. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is a full Linux computer in the form factor of a Raspberry Pi Pico. This thing isn't going to break any kind of performance records or anything like that, but it is a triple core ARM processor running at 1.2 gigahertz, and it does have 128 megabytes of RAM. So you can actually run a full Linux distribution on this. And that's kind of what I've wanted to do with this thing since I got it. Namely because I would love to have this as a kind of cool portable hacker console to access my home servers over SSH. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a way to have like a SSH client running on the Pico. It just hasn't got enough power to do that. So this is the first time I've found something that actually is in the right form factor, supports what I need, and crucially there is a project to actually use it with this as well, so I don't have to build my own Linux distro. So that's what we're going to do today. Today we're going to swap the brain out from the Pico 2W that's currently in here to this. We're also going to look at getting Wi-Fi working, because this guy does not have Wi-Fi, but it does have a USB header on the top there. So we should be able to get a USB Wi-Fi dongle working. And we're going to see if we can get the final form of what I've actually wanted this for done, working, and project complete. So let's check it out. First things first, we need to get a Linux distro. Okay, so on the desktop here, and yeah, this is what we actually got, the LuckFox Lyra Linux micro development board. It's not expensive, it's very inexpensive actually. It's just it comes from China and took a while to get here. And we have the version that has the headers all pre-installed. But yes, you get triple core ARM processor with running at 1.2 gigahertz, 128 megabytes of RAM, the USB header, as I mentioned. That's kind of all we're interested in here. It does also take an SD card. It does that in a bit of an interesting way. Basically, the SD card slot sits on top of the actual SoC. So I'm not super sure I like that. Let me install the SD card so you can actually see how that sits. And I do just feel like maybe that's taking it a little, there you go, little bit too close to that SoC, but maybe, you know, it's not going to run hot and fry the SD card. I assume not, I hope not. But that's how that works. So we can install our operating system to that SSD. And yeah, that's kind of everything we need. And definitely comparing it to the original Pico Pi 2, yeah, which only has a dual ARM processor running at 150 megahertz and 520 kilobytes of RAM. It just didn't got enough to be able to run SSH. I've not found any project that has managed to get that working. So we're not going to be able to do that. We have to upgrade. So how do we go about that? Well, we're going to be using CalcuLinux. CalcuLinux? I don't know. But this is a Linux distribution specifically designed for this combination of devices, a PicoCalc and the LuckFox Lyra. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And the first steps are pretty straightforward. You need a micro SD card and flash the image that they have for that. So let's pop this into the computer and get that flashed. So I'm just gonna wait for that to flash and verify, and then we will head over to actually the device itself and get everything set up there. All right, so while that's still flashing up, we will get on with this. And like I said, we are at my normal desk, so Sorry about the background and also the lighting isn't amazing, but I just really wanted to get this done. I wanted to play with it and I wanted to document doing so. So that's where we are. And last video, we did get this custom 3D printed shell finished. This actually glows in the dark, which is pretty cool. But more importantly, it has a component that slides off there so that we can get into the back here and actually access the brain, the Pico, if you like, without having to take the whole back off, which was a little annoying with the kind of stock case that came with this. But nonetheless, we're going to switch this out for our new LuckFox, and let's give it a go. So hopefully this just kind of pops out quite nicely, and yep, that's our Pico 2W that we used to have in here. And this is a great board, and there's lots of really cool software available for the platform. It's definitely worth checking out, but yeah, what we needs more power. And that's where this guy comes in. And yeah, this comes in a couple of different versions, but this has got the pins pre-installed, which we need, and it doesn't have the onboard storage. Instead, like I said, you use a micro SD card. So if we grab the micro SD card from the computer as it's just finished flashing, we can basically slide that in there. And yeah, not super happy about how that's kind of put on the board because it's not touching. I don't know if you can see that. It's not, there you go. It's not touching the chip, but it's really close. So if the chip gets hot at all, the SD card's gonna know about it. So yeah, not super happy about that, but anyway, it's fine. And then yes, this is our USB header, which we can basically use an unnecessarily long cable, which I got off AliExpress, which then gives you a female USB-A socket, and then this is just a little Wi-Fi dongle that I've found as well. Now, crucially with this, the USB header on here doesn't give you a full 5-volt rail, so it actually only gives you 3 volts. So you kind of need to find a Wi-Fi chip that is going to be okay with that. Thankfully, on the CalcuLinux website, there is a few options that they've kind of tested and found working, and this is one of them. It was kind of an inexpensive dongle from AliExpress as well, and it kind of says it's Wi-Fi 6, but to be honest, it only does 280 meg, which again is fine because the header I believe is USB 2, so we're never going to get fast speeds with this, but hopefully fast enough for what we're doing. So let's just pop this back in here and see what we can do. So let's get this guy in situ, and we've already installed the SD card, and just get it into the socket, and there we go. So we might as well install the Wi-Fi while we're at it. Now, annoyingly, because this kind of installs upwards like this, I'm pretty sure this isn't going to fit. It doesn't really have the clearance. So for now, we're going to leave it off, but I do know that the 3D file for this did have a version of this slidey bit that gives you more clearance. So as long as this all works, we can print a new slidey bit. I'm sure I've still got some glow-in-the-dark filament laying around. But in the meantime, we can kind of just coil this ridiculously long cable inside here so it's not all just dangling about. Stick our Wi-Fi down in there somewhere. I'm sure that's fine. It's just plastic anyway. And at least now it's not fooling about. Totally safe, totally fine. No problems there at all. All right, let's get it powered on and let's see if it works. Okay, we're getting a flashing light there to show that it is powering up. And oh yeah, we do have a flashing prompt. So it does say on the install guide that it can take up to 1 minute to 2 minutes to install and boot for the first time. So we're just going to leave it and let it boot and come back to it when it's ready. Okay, so that is now all booted up into the Linux terminal. We've moved back over to my filming desk just to give you a little tease of what's coming soon. But this is now up and running, and by default, we just have a root account with the password root, and we are all logged in and running, which is brilliant. So next, we need to get the Wi-Fi set up and running. Setting this up in a way that I can hold it and it's not just constantly glaring at me behind the camera is a little bit difficult, but I think this kind of works pretty well. We'll have to go with it. Bear with. So let's take a look. So let's take a look at actually getting the Wi-Fi set up, and it has the IWCTL tool for Wi-Fi setup. So we can pop into here and we can just check what our Wi-Fi device is. If we go device, oh, it's the first time I've really properly typed on this keyboard because it's the first time I've ever really needed to. But yes, our Wi-Fi device is being listed, so that's good. We're just going to come out of here because I think we can do this from just the CLI commands, and that way it'll be in our CLI history. So if we do this, we can scan for Wi-Fi networks, and then we can get those networks. And it's not actually found many at the moment. Certainly not found what I was expecting it to find. So maybe us cramming it in there is not such a good idea. I don't know. Let's let it drop free a little bit, and we're going to scan again and then get the network list. There we go. That's much more like it, and our networks are all displayed. So let's get that now connected up to Wi-Fi. There we go. We are all set up and pinging a DNS server, no problem at all. So we now have Wi-Fi working on this in a Linux shell. That is exactly what I wanted, and that is amazing. So let's get this thing updated, check there's any package updates, because that's always a good thing to do. And then the ultimate thing that I actually want, let's check to see if we can SSH into my home server and do things from here. I'm really hopeful though. This is looking really good. Okay, so we are upgrading our packages. It's not the fastest thing in the world here, but bear in mind that it is not a, powerful system, but the fact that it's still running Linux on this little device, I love it. So cool. And also, we can check how the system is actually handling using HTOP. And you know what? We're using 64 megabytes of our 102 megabytes available RAM-wise. So it's not bad. It's coping. It's handling running this, which in itself is just very cool. Okay, packages are updated. Now on to the main event. Can we SSH into my server? And we are in. We are connected. We could probably fire up HTOP. And yep, there you go. There is my server running quite nicely. And I can monitor the performance right here in this little handheld. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. I mean, I don't know what else I'd want to do to check it, but yeah, it's working. It's functional. I've SSH'd in. It's not the super fastest of things in the world, but you know what? It does seem to be doing a pretty good job. So there we have it. Everything up and running on this pretty cool device. The final form that I'm going to go with for my PicoCalc, and it's not really even running a Pico. That LuckFox Lyra is very cool. Such a compact little Linux machine. Absolutely love it. And yeah, now I have a cool handheld terminal that I can use if I just want to check in on my servers. It's battery powered, it's got Wi-Fi. I managed to kind of wrap everything, that long cable in there. I will probably just trim the cable down at some point, but for now it's fine, and I'll print the correct slidey bit for that so it clears that USB port. But other than that, it is all up and running, and I'm very happy with it in such a silly way. Like it's a bit of a silly device, really. It doesn't do anything that any other computer I have could do anyway, but it's just cool. It's a bit hacky, and it's the kind of thing I absolutely love on this channel. So if this is the kind of thing you also love, please do make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We are barreling towards that 10,000 subscriber goal and the wider 20,000 subscriber goal I had set for this year. We'll see if we make it, but yeah, please do make sure to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again for another video very soon. Bye for now.